Welcome to G2KAPA. That's Get to Know a Promo Artist. It is what it is every week that it is. We are jumping into 2021 in style. We have my good friend, the GM of the NGTTWF. I am the Rogue, or also I am the GM.
I am the GM.
That's right. You were the William Regal of the NGTTWF.
That's
Also one of the
right.
pillars of the original NGT. Um, so far, everyone I've had, well, Cage wasn't a pillar. I was going to say I had Joe, I had Crispy, you. I still have Alex to go, and then maybe A plus one day if he ever wins a poll. For somebody
But
who's all about the campaign, he doesn't do well in the polls.
he doesn't. You would think it like the campaigning is his thing. So he'd be like he should be able to do well in polling, but.
All right. So first off, can we jump into how you got your name? Like how you came up with the idea of jumping into the scene with I Am the Rogue.
One of my favorite like casual play games ever is Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
Huge Assassin's Creed fan, like a whole franchise. Any game I've ever played, I've always been, sneaky. I've always been that guy. And watching like the promo scene in the beginning, I got late into the TikTok game. I think I made my account in like June of this year. So, June, July, something like that. And watching several of the promo artists, I paid attention to things like the WWE TikTok fam hashtag and those kind of things. And paying attention to some of those videos brought some of the promo artists into my For You page. First guy I ever saw was Kevin.
Okay.
First person I ever saw cut like a physical promo on TikTok. And to me, there was something very like engaging about the possibility of a promo artist without the visual appeal. You know what I mean? Like looking at a person talking. To me, there's something about, if you look at like some of my older videos, something about just you're forced to listen to the words that people say when you don't have that face in front of you to just stare at and listen to talk to. So, I thought it was a really cool thing watching everybody in the promo game, watching all the stuff. Actually, funny enough, with how dominant Kevin has been in TikTok, one of the first TikTok videos I ever saw was Kevin's promo on Dre, which he actually didn't win. But he's been like, the dominance was there. You could tell Kevin was in the game. So he was actually the first person I ever reached out to. And I was, I'd never had an account, and I was just like, hey, hey Kev, I've been watching this, this promo scene. I've been watching the TTWF thing at the time. We hadn't merged at that point, so it was just TTWF. And I was like, hey, this sounds really fun. I'd love to get into it. Can I can I cut a promo? Can I call you out? And Kevin is one of those guys that's like, although he's always in character, he's one of those guys that wants to give back to the community as well. He wants to be a part of the community. So he was more than happy. He was like, yeah, bring it, cut a promo. Not only did I cut a promo on Kevin, he responded to the promo and just literally tore me to pieces. I had 3 followers and one of them was Kevin. Like, and I literally just torn apart. And I was like, hey, I know you just ripped me to pieces, but that was really fun. I'm having a good time. And that's when he mentioned, it's like, yeah, we do this promo thing. Like, you should check it out. And eventually got pulled into the TTWF Discord. This was prior to the launch of NGT. We just announced, I think NGT was coming. This was like August or whatever, I think is what it was. It was
We
made
launched
the
in
announcement
August.
that NGT was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing around just in the TTWF Discord, just trying to get people to notice me, talking to a couple people. KG came at me at one point, because I was basically using his gimmick. He was, the guy using that gimmick, and I came in with kind of a similar thing. So we had a little bit of a back and forth until eventually I started going back and forth with Shadow Phoenix, and that's when you had originally reached out to me like, hey, join this Discord, I got you. And then in first NGT actual Friday night fights we ever had, I was in the main event with Shadow Phoenix, and the rest is history.
Well, in the way that you guys have kind of come together now, of course, you are a member of Heel Club. You're actually one of the highest members as far as the hierarchy of Heel Club. You are a part of the system. If you know, you know. Now, how did that go? Like, because you had that dynamic with Shadow. Did you guys interact at all? A lot of people don't realize, like, you have that story of Kevin. Kevin dominated you, but then he was like, "Hey, join this thing. Like we have
Mhm,
this league." Like there's a
mhm.
lot that happens behind the scenes. We are a community as much as it appears we're always, against each other. It's like real wrestling. The guys talk. It's a
Oh,
brotherhood.
yeah.
It is what it is. So, did you and Shadow Phoenix have any kind of that communication, or because you guys had a pretty heated rivalry when you came
Oh,
in?
yeah. Well, we went I remember we went, I think it was 3 weeks, because I remember the 3rd week we did the foes become friends match, right? Because it was me and Shadow had been in it like against each other, and there was 2 other people. I think it was Alpha and somebody
Was
else.
it
And then it
Panda?
ended up
Panda
being
Champ
Dave.
or
It might
Devin? I know
Oh,
Devin
Devin,
was one of
Devin.
those.
Yeah,
Was
yeah,
it Devin?
yeah. Because it was they had a match against each other, and me and Shadow had a match against each other, and then we ended up doing a tag match
Yeah.
where Shadow and I were on one side and they were on the other side. But yeah, I think a lot of people when they watch like the promo game, the biggest thing people forget is a lot of the work happens behind closed doors. A lot of the work happens in DMs and talking in between, because that's like, that to me, that's where the great storytelling comes from, is when both sides are on the same page, regardless of how it ends. Is that both sides are on the same page, and Shadow and I talked a lot in Facebook and in Discord DMs about, hey, where are we going to go? What are we going to talk about? Even things as much as like inside the Discord. For those, if you're not in the NGTTWF Discord, what are you doing? Let's go, come to Discord. But even we have a ring chat, right? We have a general chat where we can talk just out of character, just be friends, right? But then we have an inside the ring chat where we talk as in our character, like back and forth with each other. And even a couple of times, Shadow's like, "Hey, I'm going to do this thing in the ring chat. This is how you should respond to it. It'll look really cool, And then we'd start that back and forth, even in that. And I think that got a lot of people talking about this random match between this new guy that nobody's ever seen before. Because up at this point, nobody's ever seen my face. So this guy nobody's ever seen before, and Shadow, who is about as OG heel club as it gets. Shadow's been there from the beginning. And even Shadow and I talking to this day have the same conversation. That's like, Shadow's turned into what he is today because of what we did for a couple of weeks.
For sure.
We brought the best out of each other, and that's when it kind of turned into the, oh yeah, you can have this heated rivalry, but still benefit each other at the same time.
Well, and honestly, that's what proved the concept of NGT. It wasn't just the, guys that had already been there doing it, like the new guys that had come in, like you, Crispy, Joe, A plus, Alex Cuts promos, all these guys. Like I could go on, the list goes on. Kind of proved that you could stand toe to toe and honestly be a lot better than quite a few of the original OGs. Someone like Kevin obviously stands out as someone who is
Right.
a
Yeah.
legend in his own right. But what made you like even get into wrestling TikTok? Like, how long had you been a wrestling fan? Are you a big wrestling fan? Like,
Oh, huge wrestling fan. My first like vivid memory of wrestling takes me back to WrestleMania 2. And this is back when they used the old school. It was the last WrestleMania Mania they used a real iron steel cage. Everybody in with older videos remembers the blue steel cage. The main event of WrestleMania 2 was King Kong Bundy and Hulk Hogan, and it was the splash versus the leg drop. And I remember these like just two larger than life guys come out, and just me as little guy staring at the TV, just with like just this shock and awe look. Hulk Hogan didn't look real. Like he didn't look like a regular dude, and King Kong Bundy was just
I
massive
I
guy.
will say though, I want to just quickly interject. I've always identified with King Kong Bundy. Like a lot of my profile pictures and stuff
Oh yeah.
are me, like my head photoshopped onto King Kong Bundy. I've even done TikToks about like me being the nerdy version of King Kong Bundy.
Well, see, my the cool thing for me about King Kong Bundy is like you had on one side you had Hulk Hogan, who was just muscled out monster. We always talk about the pythons. Bundy kind of just looked like a big dude, just like a regular dude.
Look like
And I
somebody's
think that
dad.
Yeah, yeah, I think that meant a lot to a lot of wrestling fans. Is it's like, you get guys that like look like the Ultimate Warrior, that look like Hulk Hogan, that look like they were, cut from stone. And then, here comes Joe from his long shift at the brewery to go jump in the ring and main event with Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? Like it was
I
just like
love
he was
that.
just a guy. He looked like somebody
Yeah,
that like regular wrestling fans could identify with.
I love
You
that.
know, and
So
I always remember as a kid, like my dad, we would always watch like the Monday Night Wars. Like growing up, I grew up into the
yeah.
Monday Night Wars, the end of the '80s, into the '90s, and like WCW was coming up with WWF, and they both were trying to beat each other out. They were both picking up each other's like stars after their contracts were over. And that was like it was a huge thing as a kid because one of the things that wrestling was, and still to this day to me is really good at, but was phenomenal at during the Monday Night Wars because it was necessary was how are you going to upstage the other show? Who's going to have the bigger pop of the week to draw you into the following week? So it's like all week, my dad and I would talk about like, oh, what's going to happen Monday night? It's like we don't know what's going to happen Monday night, and it was just it was one of those things where it's like you had to pay attention to every week. We talked about it all week for the next week. And it's something I think to this day wrestling has still been absolutely phenomenal at is long term storytelling.
So my question to you, I know you said WrestleMania 2, so obviously you were a WWF, WWE guy. In the Monday Night
Mhm.
Wars, were you like where did you fall in that divide? Were you equally a fan? Were you definitely WWF but you also watched WCW?
I was team Nitro, man. I was WCW. And I think for a lot of people, what it ended up kind of tilting the scales for a lot of people was the NWO and was the emergence of the NWO. Now, obviously, that wasn't later into the Monday Night Wars, but to me, there was more people that I was just really engaged with on the WCW side. I watched both of them, absolutely, no question. But for the entirety of the Monday Night Wars, I was basically Team WCW.
I was very similarly in the same boat. I never went to my first WWE event until after WCW closed. I'd been to numerous Nitros, and then
Hmm.
after the Monday Night Wars, when WCW shut down, I started going to like Raw events. I've been to a couple WrestleMania stuff like that. Um, what? So okay, so we know you're a wrestling fan. We kind of got your trajectory there. What got you on wrestling TikTok? Like what? Like was it finding Kevin was literally like the crux,
It
or
was.
like
It was. Well, it was it
because I
was a
know that's how you
hundred
get into
percent Kevin, but
promos.
Kevin leading me, yeah, leading me into other places. For me, literally the beginning of my wrestling TikTok is I've always been like a wrestling fan. So when I decided to get TikTok, almost like as a joke, I was just like, you can search things, and I was like, oh, let's just search hashtag WWE, search hashtag wrestling, and start looking for wrestling videos. And I eventually had found the WWE TikTok fam hashtag, and that brings you mostly to Susie's page, right? But just from watching some of these videos, you could see the evolution of my for you page is flipping through, and now people I don't normally see are popping up. So a couple of your videos pop up, Josh's videos pop up, and
Shout out to
one of
Heel
the
Josh,
videos
by
that
the
I
way.
saw pop up one of the videos I saw pop up was a random, I think it was like a card announcement video from the TikTok wrestling page. And that's when it turned into like, oh, this is like a thing. This is like a real thing. It wasn't just like Kevin was like a guy that talked smack to people just randomly on TikTok because he thought it was fun. It was like, oh, there's actually some organization here. But
Well, and how
it was
weird is
really
that now
cool.
for you that you're that guy?
It's so weird to be like to have like not even like 3 or 4 months later to be like the new people coming into the server going like, hey, I just posted my first hype promo. Can you go watch it? Or like one of the new guys being like, "Hey, is it okay if I cut a promo on you?" And I was like, "Man, that was me like 3 months ago, man. Hell yeah, let's go." Like
Well, and also the cool thing is like you do the card announcements too. Like as far as like our main event card, like we book it and you are telling everybody what to watch, the most important or at least the most showcase matches of the week. So that's kind of cool hearing that story from you that like you saw the TTWF card announcements and like the importance of that to you, and then
hmm
now you're that guy. That's really
now
cool.
it's
It's
like
full
my
circle.
job. It's like one of my jobs with the NGTTWF is talking about, hyping up cards and hyping up matches. So it's like one of the first videos I saw was that, and now it's something I get to do every week, which is, super cool.
So even since you, of course, you've been in NGT basically since its inception, into
Yeah, we
what has now become NGTTWF. What do you see going into 2021? Because this episode, of course, has been a long time in the making, and this is the first episode of 2021. It's going to be a little bit longer than the usuals, but we have a very important guest, the GM of NGTTWF. How often can you say that you have someone of that stature on G2KAPA?
listen,
At least once.
maybe more often in 2021,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
maybe we might have to do this a little more
But
often.
what are I want you to give me two of your promo artists to watch in 2021, and two things that are maybe some of your goals going into NGTTWF, either as a promo artist, as the GM, whatever you want to talk about. Two things you think would be important for NGTTWF going into 2021.
Okay, so as the GM, we'll start there. As the GM, I think some of the most important things for me are really kind of community development within our server and within the family that we call NGTTWF, which is exactly what it is. Is we push so hard with our Thanksgiving break. We were like, let's push to a certain number of members in the Discord. Let's try to hit a certain number of members before the end of the year, and we put these goals on ourselves, and then we do it. And it's like, what do we do now? So I think it's really kind of establishing more of our community as a whole and growing it and expanding it into I'd love to see 5, 6, 700 people in our Discord, and just have this awesome family of people. I think another thing is I really want to work on, and this is something you and I have talked about privately on multiple occasions, is working on highlighting people who wouldn't normally be highlighted with some of the things that I do, like card announcements, or if I don't have a match in a week, I do my 3 matches to watch for that week, and pick out 3 people, and some of the people who maybe not be main event level, but they're coming up now get a shout out from the GM in their own video. And it's like, I know a couple of people where I've done videos announcing the main event card, and I get like a DM and they're like, "Oh my god, I made the main event card. I've never made the main event card before." And they're so excited to hear their name in a video that everybody gets to see because it goes in the general chat. We tag everybody with it so they can see it. So for me, being able to highlight some of those other promo artists with things like, this is a match to watch. This could be match of the week, and everybody goes, "Oh, I got to go watch that guy," because that's going to be an awesome match. To me, that's pretty cool. Uh, I think in our promo community, we've got a lot of really solid talent. I think there's a lot of people that get slept on like a regular basis. I'm gonna do like a 2.5 because I think my buddy Nigel, the natural, is already showing himself. I would say hard to say Nigel's coming up because
Yeah.
Nigel's in the main event this week. He is up. This is recorded right before Christmas or New Year's Day, and he's in the main event New Year's Day. So it's hard to say Nigel's coming up because he's already up. Uh, I think 2 people you need to pay attention to in 2021. First one is A1 Nero. I think A1 by summertime is either holding or fighting for the next gen world title. I think he has the capability to. I think he has everything that you want out of a dynamic promo artist. He's fun to watch. He works well with just about anybody. And when it comes to cutting a solid cutthroat promo, he can do it. If you need more of a storytelling developmental kind of a promo, he can absolutely do it. I think he's going to be nothing but up going into this year. And then I've already said it twice and I've been laughed at, but I'm going to 100% stick to it. One of the people who I think is going to come into prominence in 2021 is DJ Barbecue. I think the guy is phenomenal at editing videos, and I think that's going to be huge to his advantage. I think we see things in Discord like he's capable of getting 5, 6, 7 people to come at him with one sentence. You know, he knows how to talk. He knows how to talk. He knows how to get people against him, which is a thing when it comes to the promo game. You know, people want to cut promos on him. People want, even if they don't have a match with him, they're like, I gotta cut a promo on this guy. And that tells a lot to his capability as like somebody who's not a heel, but is a heel, and you know, not in heel club, but he's definitely a heel. So I'm real excited to see what he's capable of doing this year.
That is something you touched on that I want to talk about because Nigel also is a heel. So the whole idea is you don't have to be in heel club to be a heel. Nigel, I absolutely love the natural Nigel Lawrence Esquire. Everything he's been doing with this character, very similar to Jared Holmes. Jared Holmes created this Jared
Oh
Swanson
yeah.
character that's just over the moon. That
Mhm.
is the main event for the New Year's Day card, which just will come out on New Year's Day. A1 Nero has every tool in his toolbox to be the biggest star there is. And the one thing that I will say
100%.
connects all three of these people, although DJ a little less because I feel like people DJ's a real wrestling guy. He's in the indies, he does
Yeah.
that type
Oh
of
yeah.
stuff.
100%.
So people take his personality as a shoot personality. They don't realize a lot, I think, that he's always working. He's like Kevin in a way, just
Oh,
not
right.
as biting.
Oh, 100%. The character never turns off. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just Kevin is ruthless and cutthroat. You know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean? But DJ kind of plays a different style of that character.
DJ needs pieces around him and then he'll be
Mhm.
ultimately successful. I could see him definitely being in the same type of role where I'm in, where he's a liaison for other people. He's not necessarily the guy who's the spotlight star, but I feel like he can elevate other people around him as long as he gets the right pieces. So I agree with that. But
Oh,
A1
yeah.
Nero, I think, is honestly one of the most talented people in the whole community. But A1 Nero and Nigel are also two of the most respected people in the entire locker room because they're community driven.
100%. They're two people that you will find in Discord and in, you know, chatting with people in TikTok comment sections and with
Yep.
other promo artists on the daily. And for somebody like me, somebody like the GM who's focuses a lot on our community as a whole and not just my job as a standing member of Heel Club and as the I'm the current or one half of the current NGTTWF World Tag Team Champions. I think over and above those things, the GM is responsible for the community as a whole, and we have people like Jared, like Nigel, like A1, like Joey. These guys that are like in the community, they are in every day talking to people, and I think that's what gives them the respect that they absolutely deserve.
100%. Now, we're getting deep into the 20 plus minute mark here. We're at like 20 something minutes. It is
Hmm.
time for the lightning round. Are you prepared for this?
Give it to me. What you got?
We got
Bring
some
it.
random questions. We got some serious, some jokey questions. What color are your socks?
Black.
What's your Starbucks order?
Americano, cream, Splenda.
One word to describe yourself.
Decisive.
I like that, especially because you had to decide on a word to explain yourself. Who is your dream opponent out of any promo artist? It could be in or out of the league.
I mean, it's definitely in our league. Not to like say that we're the top tier, but we are the top tier. I will argue that until the day I
Just
die.
putting it out
Um, it is obviously Kevin or the Watcher, KG. Those
there. Okay.
are, if you want to shoot for the top, you don't get much higher than that.
Okay. What is Heel Club for?
Life.
That's right, brother. If you were on a boat and you were going to end up in a Gilligan's Island situation, what are three items you would want? for that deserted island. I'm very hungry. Desert island.
I was gonna say, you're getting food answers from me. Peanut butter, because peanut butter goes on everything.
Okay.
Uh, I'm, I want to fish and pull because I'm catching food. And I mean, can I have satellite internet and a laptop? Is that like a two-in-one
Well,
thing? Like,
that'd be two different. You could have satellite internet, but no laptop, and I mean, you're just kind
okay,
of
so give me three things. I want satellite internet, I want
okay.
a laptop, and I want peanut butter. That's
Okay.
it.
So no
You know,
fishing. You're like, I don't need to fish. I don't need food. It's
peanut
whatever.
butter, man, or whatever. Like, I'll just run out there and go grab some. It's just,
What is your guilty pleasure movie?
Guilty pleasure movie. Um, I get just sucked into the Saw franchise, all of them,
What
100%. Doesn't matter which one.
can we get a favorite?
Oh, one.
The first one is, of course, the best. Some people have bad takes, so it could
Yeah,
have been,
you can't
you
fault
never
them
know.
all.
You never know. I noticed you've been doing this on TikTok. Give me an unpopular opinion about a video game.
We can be friends. Um, God, people are gonna hate this. Uh, Borderlands 2 was the only good Borderlands.
I think a lot of people would agree with that actually. I have heard other people express that sentiment.
Borderlands
What
pre-sequel was hot trash. Uh, Borderlands 1's pretty good. I think 3 needs the kinks fixed. There are some, 3's pretty new. Within a year, I'd still say is pretty new. But yeah, no, I'm sticking. 2 is the only high quality Borderlands. Not to say the other ones are bad, but they don't meet the expectation that 2 meets.
what's your favorite Fortnite weapon?
The lever action rifle right now, no question.
Nice.
You and I, we're long range friends,
That's
so
right.
that's
We
that's
do
that's our
represent the squad.
squad.
We do
We are the
represent.
long range of the squad.
That is right. Okay, so that concludes our lightning round here. Just have a little bit of fun, get to know you a little more on a more personal level, some things that aren't wrestling or promo related. I do want to talk to you on a personal level, just as someone who works with you day to day, not only in Heel Club but in NGTTWF. Honestly, I could not do any of the things I do without you as the GM, as a member of the system, as just a friend. You are always there when I need you, and I absolutely appreciate you for that 100%. You are one of the biggest fixtures of the community, not just because of your role, you make that role important. Not everybody could do what you do, so I know from me and of course from Ryan, we both appreciate you and thank you so much for what you do for NGTTWF and of course Heel Club as well.
None of us would be able to do anything that we do without, some of y'all, without you, without Brian, without, you guys and Josh making the community. None of us would be anything without that. But if we didn't have such a fantastic community to be a part of, this would be so much more difficult. But it's fun to have a job and have it be entertaining at the same time.
For sure. And I mean, you definitely have taken to it. You definitely elevated the GM role in general. And you make people feel more welcome in the community and like they're a part of something, which is what is ultimately the most important for NGTTWF is a community. We do treat it like a family, and it is something that we want to see grow in 2021. I think because of you, in large part, that will be possible. I do want to thank you for coming on G2KAPA, being my fourth guest, but my first guest of 2021. So that's super important in itself. We are going to have more episodes more frequently coming in 2021. And I will have polls up on the Discord. If you're not on the Discord, it is discord.io/NGTTWF. You can join the Discord, join in on the community. You don't have to promo. If you like gaming, if you like sports, entertainment, TV, movies, whatever. We talk about all kinds of stuff. If you want to get carried to dubs in Fortnite, sometimes we can do that too. But I appreciate everybody coming to watch. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. And we'll be back with another one soon. Maybe even this week. We'll be back. Bye.